Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of After the Devs, where I and a guest sum up all the information that was given to us in the Coffee Stain Studio Dev livestream. This episode being based on the livestream that was on the 20th of October, and we're going to summarize that all into a very small podcast of hopefully about 20-25 minutes for you. So if you do want to check out the dev stream VOD, I will also place a link below, but let's get into it. So, for those of you who don't know, RunestoneGaming was with us last week, and he is a fellow Satisfactory content creator over on YouTube, where he's just started to produce some really cool content, and he's also a regular Twitch streamer as well. So, welcome.
Thank you. Honored to be here. Thank you for having me again on episode 2. Looking forward to the podcast today.
Welcome. Last week we were talking about the Fluid update and also updating everyone as to what happened in the Coffee Stain Studios dev live stream. And yesterday, although it's the day before now, they were actually debunking some of the things in the most recent teaser trailer. So we've got some fun bits of information for you today. Speaking of which, how is everything for update 3.5?
Yeah, so right out of the gates on the dev stream, Snoot talked about this right away. They haven't run into any issues so far. Snoot compared this to update 1, where they were running into some problems, but they've solved a lot of those for this time around, and we're looking at a October 27th release.
Yep, so they always update on a Tuesday, so fingers crossed they do this time. If not, it will be hopefully the week after.
Yeah, what were some of the highlights from the trailer?
So Snut intentionally built the factory a bit weird to get us questioning all the things that were happening,
right?
Such as clipping power lines through the factory, which kind of brings me on to the first point, the Mark III power pole. One of the things that they mentioned, it looked different to me. I mentioned that there was a weird box poking out of the side, and it was brought up in the stream that this is actually a rendered effect that's gone wrong on Snut's machine. So that is actually nothing. Although, like, conspiracy theories were going, like, wild. I was like, wireless power? People were talking about lights, all these kind of things that it could have possibly been, but nothing, unfortunately. The other thing that was talked about in the trailer was obviously the jump pads. So what's coming new to them?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the jump pads. Not only are you going to be able to angle them upwards to 90 degrees, but you can also place them on walls. Snoot failed to show that in the teaser because he actually had no clue that was even a capability. But he did confirm in the dev stream that is going to be a capability. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what people can do with those jump pads.
Yeah, and they did mention that there aren't any deterministic physics in-game currently, so if you do use them, though we have like an idea as to where they're going to go, you may still have to guide yourself to that particular spot. And he also mentioned that he'd like to have stepless system in place for these angled jump pads. So rather than them stepping into each angle, that we'd have much more control over them. It'd be much more freer.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that they did also mention was that you cannot change the angle of the jump pads once they're placed. So if you do want to change them, you're going to have to delete them and replace them once again.
And I know that there was something debunked here as well that they mentioned in the stream.
Okay, that might have been my fault.
Jump pad delay.
Yeah, so I did some timing, and there was a 2.5 second delay for the jump to take place and a 2-second one. And so I suggested that potentially this could be either triggered by the player or there was a set delay that we could do. But this is just the build system, like a few of you mentioned in the video.
Right after jump pads, he dragged a wire from the jump pad right to the ceiling. That was really cool. Thoughts on the new wire placement?
Yep, so that's probably one of the most interesting additions to the quality of life that we're going to have in this update, which is where you can drag a wire like we would to another pole, to a wall, or even to a ceiling, and set a ceiling or wall power joint outlet directly to that wire, which is going to be really nice and really help with builds and save us a lot of time as well. Now, speaking of which, the ceiling outlets, what are your thoughts on that?
The ceiling nipples, yeah. The way I've been currently doing ceiling power right now is I just drop a foundation one below the ceiling and lay a fence on there, and you can actually put the wall outlets right onto the fence. Something Snoot didn't even know how to do.
Yeah, I do something similar to that with walls, and then delete them afterwards, but it's a bit of work.
Yes, it's a bit of work. Something else also debunked here when it came to power.
The power walls. So a few people were suggesting that we now have power walls. This isn't the case. Whether they are coming, who knows? But they're certainly not going to be in update 3.5. The next thing that we should probably mention is Snut's big boo-boo, which was the seated players that we got a sneak peek of in the teaser trailer. These are part of update 4. Not 3.5, so we won't be seeing them. And what they are when a player goes, they say AFK, but when they leave the session, we always get these standing mannequins. And they wanted to differentiate people that had left the session from those that are in the session and just away from keyboard, essentially. So if you leave the session, you're going to be sitting down and with a coffee cup, enjoying a cup of Java.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to if it could have potentially been a new emote. In the stream, they mentioned that it was kind of like an odd feeling with people standing around who are no longer in the game. Kind of turned off by that, but honestly, to me, I would much rather have an emote where I could sit down. That seems kind of fun to me. In the trailer, it looked like there might have been some lighting changes here going on.
Yeah,
lighting changes.
This was suggested as well, that the dark night suddenly looked lighter, and I don't know if that was the time of the evening that it was recorded, or whether it was the particular recording software, but it was lighter, and Snut said he believes it is just to do with his recording software.
All ado about nodding right there.
Exactly. Or it could be the fact that the moon was extraordinarily close and reflecting a lot of light onto the planet.
Speaking of the moon, the whole moon mystery going on there
yeah,
too?
Nothing.
Is it a new moon?
No, not a new moon. Nothing new there. So that was just... They used the same asset that's currently in game. I think they might have brought it closer because it's not normally that big. And I thought that might have been referencing the moon might have been referencing multiplayer optimization, because in game at the moment it's very stuttered and
staggered.
When you're looking at it, but that wasn't the case in this. But apparently, no, nothing new there. It's just part of the cinematic. Speaking of nighttime scenery, though, we had a glimpse at a beautiful mystery building in the background. What were your thoughts on that?
I really wasn't sure what we were looking at here, but I know that there was a pipe involved and they had all those biogenerators nearby. I thought maybe it might have had something to do with liquid biofuel. I know that you can already do that, but maybe they made some change to it to where it was automated and you didn't have to manually put wood into machines anymore. I don't know, something like that. But we were talking earlier and it sounded like you had probably some ideas that sounded a little better.
Yeah, so I have one particular idea, but I also asked in my live stream today other people's thoughts, and the ideas that we got was that it could be like a fluid fuel station, so that vehicles are fed liquid fuel rather than packaged fuel. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. That sounds like it would be more of a vehicle kind of update. Sure. The other option was perhaps it's a ground pump to bring water up from underground. That's a nice idea, and I could certainly see it being used. And the other one was a liquid sink, which could well be the case, to be fair, because we currently we can attach a sink to a resource node. Why can't we do it with liquids? Is my opinion.
Something that is once again asked every single dev stream. When are we getting a liquid sink?
Yeah. So who knows? It could well be that. But my thought was that potentially this was like a pump house building. So it's a bit like a pump, but a specific building that would allow us to gain quite a considerable amount of head lift, or to be able to use, I don't know, bigger pipes and increase the pressure there.
Bigger pipes.
So who knows? Yeah, maybe Mark II pipes. Anyone? Any takers?
Anyone? And we can expect to see some new stuff coming just right after this cast. As soon as this cast live, we're going to be able to see that live stream on YouTube of the next teaser.
Yeah, so we'll hopefully have this up within the next, few hours, I guess, because this evening or this afternoon, depending on where you are, Coffee Stains are releasing the next teaser trailer. That's going to be 5 p.m. BST, I believe. Don't hold me hostage over that. But they are doing a live watch party, and you can actually join the room now. I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the morning for me, and there are over 150 people waiting there. So why not join in the queue?
Why not?
The next thing that they moved on to after talking about this teaser trailer and debunking everything was the Fan Forge winners.
Yes.
So,
and for those who don't know, the Fan Forge competition is over now, and the competition was to determine artwork for the next Satisfactory swag. First place, really looked forward to that.
Yep, so first place went to JWI, I think was his name.
Congratulations, JWI.
Photo behind. Congratulations for it. With the name of the picture being Trouble on the line. Pretty awesome picture. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the artwork was great. Really summed up kind of the mess that is Doggos in the factory cart. Wasn't too much of a fan of the second place submission. I don't know how I feel about Lizard Doggo Sushi.
I love it. I thought that picture was fantastic. I wanted to see more. For some reason, I just wanted to eat sushi after looking at that. I thought it was the cute doggo eyes, the way they just looked so longingly at you. Oh, probably best my sushi doesn't look at me like that. Another thing that we should mention on the subject of merchandise is that they did say they haven't made any progress yet with the EU shipping. But you have just received something yourself.
Yes. I picked up the poster. Just be careful when you guys are opening it. It is strapped, locked, and loaded with tons of tape around it. So do be a little careful. You will get your poster in perfect condition, but getting it out of the box, that's another question. So be really careful when you guys are doing that. After FanForge, Jace transitioned into his no dismantle game, which I couldn't ever do, and Snoot went ahead and did his Q&A. Any Q&A content that we need to cover?
Yep, so a lot of the questions that were answered were kind of redirected to the Q&A site. So if you do have any suggestions that you want in-game, do go over to the site and suggest them on there and upvote anyone whose ideas are particularly good, because they will get read, and with any luck they will be brought into the game. One thing that was questioned was whether vehicles will be coloured eventually in game, and they said that possibly that may well be coming, but I guess that would be more of potentially part of a vehicle update. So was there any other news on vehicles?
Train collision, signaling, every single time the devs go live, that's the thing that gets asked every single time. And it's the same answer every single time. The updates to the vehicles, they're going to all come at once, not in a, any soon update, but definitely in the future. It's something they certainly want to work on, hashing out all those bugs with the vehicles, especially in terms of multiplayer. And in regards to multiplayer, Snoot also answered some questions about players placing hubs.
Yep. Well, it was the whole premise was, can we place potentially multiple hubs? And Snut and Jace were quite adamant that we would not have this in game. I think it just adds a lot more trouble for them. I don't understand the coding behind it, but apparently they have various items that are for single use, and so you can't have multiples without having to put in a lot of work. So we won't be seeing multiple hubs.
And updates on the Samuera. People are always asking about that too. So I know that they've mentioned it'll be used in 1.0. Anything else to add here?
Yep, so they've been umming and ahhing about releasing that to us, whether they want it to be part of the story release or whether they have it separately. And it looks like they've gone straight for having it released with the story, which apparently we've now been told is potentially like a side quest. You don't have to do it to progress through the game and build your factories.
Optional.
But you can, yeah, it's optional. You can do it when you want. But you may want to do that because it may unlock some things for us to use, which sounds...
I wonder maybe something like an
cool.
awesome shop or something like that.
Who knows? I think it might be more like late game technologies. But as for what, who knows? Speaking of 1.0, they've said that potentially we're going to be receiving some more equipment.
I guess the only concern there with the equipment is I hope that we're all waiting for a quality of life change that'll make it easier to swap between the equipment.
Yep. Well, a lot of people were asking about combining Blade Runners and jetpacks. That's quite a big one for most people. And they've said that we can probably expect something to do with that coming in a patch, in an update at some point.
I can certainly see like some Blade Runner jetpack combo in like tier 8 or even tier 9 or something like that.
Fingers crossed.
It's certainly endgame, for sure. And in regards to endgame, any big baddies we're going to be fighting? Any new big baddies we're going to be fighting?
Well, the only thing they kind of let on about was the mother crab, the giant one that we saw in one of the early teaser trailers. They've said that they're going to be reworking the AI, I believe, for that, which is nice. And Snut went on to talk about how there's kind of two sides to this. Those that want more enemies and those that don't think that the combat should be in the game. And I'm either or, but at the moment, as the enemies stand where they are, I think I'd prefer to go down the passive route. But if they overhaul enemies, then I'm certainly up for more combat. I don't mind. What do you think?
I don't think that this, like, the core of this game is its PvE content. It's kind of like it's more. I don't think the PvE is really at the core mechanics of this game. It's more of like a factory and logistical chain game. And so I don't know if you're really looking for that here. I just don't think it's something that we're going to see soon, if at all, coming up to 1.0.
That's fair enough.
And I know optimization was once again mentioned. I'm still looking forward to some engine updates myself.
Yep, so they're constantly updating and optimizing the game. And I think it's just very difficult that because we see it step by step, that we don't really see this kind of progress. But if you look at the really early access when it was first released, there's been a huge difference over the last year and a half, 2 years. But yeah, I mean, we've got the fluid update coming. Maybe we can see multiplayer being a little bit more fluid. That was bad. That fell flat, didn't it? But speaking of updates, so we've heard that 3.5 is coming within the next week to 2 weeks, so end of October, possibly early November. That's going to hit early experimental, and then providing there aren't any major bugs, from what I understood, they're going to move this over to early access so that they can bring the update to Unreal Engine 4.25, which again will bring us more optimizations. But the thing to bear in mind, the thing with the Unreal Engine update, because it's an engine update, we could potentially expect a fair few bugs. Maybe a few more than usual, but just hold on. We will make it.
Hold on.
But that kind of sums it up for the live stream that they were talking about yesterday, day before yesterday now. But I must admit, I'm super excited, and I am super excited for some community events that are coming up over the next few weeks. That was very smooth of me. Just segueing in there. So we do have the BrainDG's community build-off every Thursday from 9 p.m. BST, generally speaking. I think he's trying 8 players tomorrow.
My goodness.
I might jump in and try and do that if I can.
That'll be huge. That'll be epic.
That's going to be cool. Other ones, I think there's...
Samueras has his build off as well that he's going to be doing on the 25th at 4 p.m. BST. I know he's still looking for some more competitors, so feel free to at him or at Total or at whoever. We'll send the signal out.
Anyone,
we'll
just
find it.
random person. Other than that, there's obviously our multiplayer streams that you can obviously join if you wish to. Runestone, yours is on Fridays?
Yep.
And mine's on Saturdays. I will admit that my save is getting ridiculously laggy and challenging. We keep crashing, so the chances are you won't be able to join our game. There's only 2 of us able to join at a time at the moment. But I think yours is all right.
Yeah, we're just entering. Well, we're exiting like oil power, trying to transition into some more automated oil power. So we're looking forward to that, and I'd love to see you guys there.
Sweet. Other than that, I should mention the website satisfactorytips.com. We're going to be hosting a very special monthly event. Well, we say monthly. We're going to do our first one on the 7th of November, and we have a load of mini games that are going to be included with that, along with a lot of prizes ranging from vouchers. I think you're donating a game. There's also, I believe, a Game Pass as well at the moment. So we've got loads of things up for grabs. So do keep an eye out for that. We've got lots of information coming soon. But that kind of does us for today. So thank you so much, RunestoneGaming, for joining us. Greatly appreciate it once again.
Thank you for having me again.
And I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Ciao.
Yep. Thank you so much. Ciao.
So that sums us up for today. Now, I wanted to say special thanks does go to RunestoneGaming for joining us and helping me out with this once again. Do check his channels out, so you can find him at RunestoneGaming on Twitter, also on Twitch and YouTube. And of course, I do want to say a huge thank you to all our Patreons, with special thanks going to The Calamity, Tommy Ostgard and Bo Papa, our Solar Eclipse Patrons, as well as Matt Lippard, our Lunar Eclipse Patron, and Blood Moon Patron of the Day, which today is going to be Jimmy Rogers. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have an awesome evening. As always, until next time, ciao for now.